Coach, ready when you are, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon. Again, want to just say how much I appreciated the Mizzou fan base for Saturday night. What an awesome atmosphere. Everything that I believe and dream that this place can and will be as we continue to build our program moving forward. Got a very difficult talent challenge this week. Obviously, Florida, a very good football team, a lot of very talented players, return a lot of guys. I think on the defensive side of the ball, Brenton Cox Jr. stands out to me as probably the most disruptive defensive player we faced all season. They returned Ventrell Miller, who was injured last year at linebacker. I think he's the best linebacker we've played all year. They've got massive size up front on the defensive line. And then their back end is experienced with the two safeties that have played a lot of football, and Jason Marshall Jr. at corner is as good a corner as we've played. So defensively, they're very good. Their defensive coordinator does an outstanding job of mixing coverages, pressures, formation adjustments, not giving you the same picture. Offensively, it starts with their quarterback, Anthony Richardson, very talented quarterback that can run and throw. He's got great command of what Coach Napier is trying to do offensively. Coach Napier is a very good football coach and knows exactly how he's building his team each week and what they're trying to do offensively to win. And they put their quarterback in the right situation. They're very big and physical up front with their offensive line. They've got a tremendously talented running back room. So it'll be a very difficult challenge. I think the challenge for us this week is to recreate the process and not get caught up in the outcomes. Don't worry so much about the outcome, but worry about the process and what we control, which is having a great Tuesday practice focused on our fundamentals and techniques and the things that we need to correct from the game, and not attach ourselves so much to the outcome that we can't emotionally be ready to go. We got to travel down there on the road at noon in a very difficult environment. So we've got an uphill battle ahead for us, but I believe in our football team, and I believe they will accept that challenge, and look forward to get on the practice field with them today. With that, I'll open up for questions.
Eli, when you talk about process, and you've mentioned a lot the last few weeks about the fight you see in your team,
yep.
How have you seen your group, I guess, develop that trait of running to the fight, as you mentioned?
Yeah, just continue to show up. It's easy to look at the obstacles or say I've been doing this for so long, but it's not working. It's kind of like going on a diet. Just because you've done it right for 15 days and you don't get the results you want, you got to stick with it. Same thing with working out. Same thing with building a program and finding ways to win. You got to stick with the process, recreate the process every week. And I'm proud of not only our players but our coaches not being so attached to the outcomes that they can't emotionally reinvest themselves each week in the process. And I thought last week that's something that we absolutely did. We reinvested in the process and gave ourselves an opportunity. But this week doesn't care what last week did. This week cares about what this week's going to do.
After you had time to go back and look at the tape from last week, offensively, what did you see that you kind of liked that maybe you'd want to build on this week? Anything encouraging there?
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of things encouraging going against that defense. Score 22 points. I thought we were able to run the football effectively. We, created some explosive plays down the field, threw the ball down the field. But ultimately, we had too many drives that came up empty as far as touchdowns in the red zone, and obviously critical penalties and critical situations, and we've got to improve in third downs. But I thought there was a lot of things that were good from that game.
Bounce back last week, like you said, coming off such a tough game. Is it easier to do this week, harder to do, no different, having to do it the second week in a row?
We'll find out. I don't know. We'll find out. It's going to be up to the coaching staff to be resilient, and the players to be resilient, and again, not attach themselves to the outcome, but attach themselves to the process. And we know what it takes and what it looks like in order to play that way, and you got to recharge yourself emotionally, and you got to figure out how to dig deep. And the only thing guaranteed in the game is a win and a loss. So that's the only outcome that's going to matter, and you got to reinvest yourself knowing that either one of those is an option. So
Eli, having coached against Napier in the Sun Belt, is there much carryover in what he does and what his teams are about when you watch him?
Yeah, fundamentally sound, control the lines of scrimmage, don't beat themselves. Tactically very sound. Obviously, Coach Napier is very aggressive in fourth downs. He's been that way for a long time. I mean, I think there's a lot of similarities in what they do scheme-wise. Obviously, when we were at Appalachian State, Dave Roberts was the defensive coordinator, but Coach Tony was on the staff. So I think there's some familiarity and consistency there.
Coach, what's the key what was the key to the fast start against Douglas as opposed to the starts you guys had against Kansas State and Auburn?
I mean, I think defensively we came out and stopped them. 3 plays, created field position for us offensively. In those 2 games, both drives, they were 12, 14-play drives that led to touchdowns. So, and in both games, I mean, against K-State, we scored first, but I think that's probably a lot of it, coming out and getting a stop early, creating field position, which is what you try to do in the middle 8, and or what we try to do is create an opportunity for us to double up possessions. Obviously, I think we ended up tying the middle 8 this past weekend, but yeah.
Eli, you mentioned critical penalties a few times there.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into training today and for the next few days, do you have, at this point in the season, do you have to readjust the way you teach some of those things, or do you keep going with the same process?
Yeah, I mean, flinching on a cadence is discipline, and we've had the conversation, is there something inflection-wise that we're doing? But that's got to get corrected. And then penalties as far as holding and illegal hands to the face, I mean, that's got to be better technique.
There was a lot of optimism about Tyron Hopper over the summer coming into the season, but has he exceeded maybe even what expectations you had coming into the year?
Last year he had 14 tackles against us, 4 TFLs and a sack, so I think that was the expectation every game. He's a great young man. I'm so proud of him on our football team. He's really battling. He's playing a lot of plays, plays really fast, does what we ask him to do. So he's displaying what we believed he had in him, and yeah.
I was going to say, to piggyback off other things about Little Hop, when did you know that the guy who played y'all last year, who had that big game with Fordham, when did you know he's going to do that for us every game this season?
Well, I don't know if I knew he was going to do it every game, but I saw him in spring and thought we got a pretty good player on our hands. And there, here's the deal: he's a competitor. He prepares the right way, and I think he really trusts his teammates. I think the defensive line in front of him is playing really well, and he's able to play downhill. I think Coach Smith's done a really good job coaching him. I think Coach Baker's put him in a really good scheme fit. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and it starts with him being a guy who works really hard and having been blessed with a lot of talent.
How has Cody Schrader taken, what he did at a lower level and brought it up here and kind of improved his game beyond?
He's a young man who's attached to the process and not the outcomes, and every day is a work day for him. He starts over and comes in and gets treatment and watches tape and exercises. I knew the young man was special, whether it was in the spring or throughout the summer. I mean, he was lifting twice a day. He is very appreciative of the opportunity, and he's a tremendous young man.
Do you guys like Tyron Hopper in the portal? Like, does that change how you evaluate film? Like, if you see a guy do something special against you, this guy could be a fit for us if something happens?
Well, that gets into a tough question in college football. I think, you got to be ready for anybody to get in the portal at any time, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. But that's an interesting question.
Do you have to talk to him this week about, hey,
Yeah.
the emotion and just treating this like another game?
Well, he's not going to treat it like another game, but I definitely have to talk to him about keeping his composure. And I mean, those are his former teammates, and I know he's got a mutual respect. I think he was roommates with Brenton Cox, and I know he knows a lot of those guys. And I don't think there was any bad. I don't know that there's any bad blood or any ill will towards any of them at all. So I think it'll be fun to compete against them, but we got to make sure we keep our emotions in check.
Do you think he's going to have this game circled?
Huh?
He's had this game circled on the calendar for all.
No, I mean in the SEC, you better bring your A game every game, man. I don't know if you better circle one or not the other. Like they all got good players, and I doubt it. I hope not.
Eli, can you pinpoint some areas where Brady's better going into week 6 than he was week 1? I mean, where are you seeing growth?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the game, I think he was 20 for 32 with a touchdown, no interceptions, didn't put the ball in jeopardy, connected on a couple of deep balls. I mean, that's a pretty good defense we were going against, and he gave us an opportunity. Are there plays out there that are still to be made? Absolutely. I mean, there's better calls to be made by me. And I think every game you go back and watch film, there's going to be things that you have to do better. But he's given us an opportunity to win the game, and we got to go finish it. I mean, he's given us the opportunity in the last 2 games to win, and we've got to finish.
Coach, I think it was a couple weeks ago you mentioned before the Auburn game you wanted the defensive line to be more disruptive, more chaotic. How did you see them kind of adjust and kind of see what they did against Georgia as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think they controlled the line of scrimmage. They were able to, for the most part, keep them in check and running the football and creating havoc plays. They got pressure on the quarterback, created turnovers. So all the things that are really a hallmark of Coach Baker and the style of defense that we want to play. And again, last week really doesn't matter. It's about what we can do this week, and that's one of the things that Florida does not allow is they don't allow a lot of negative yardage plays. They don't get behind the chains. They grind out 4 yards at a time. They take vertical shots. They get into 3rd and 3 to 4 where they can boot or let quarterback run the football. So we have got to control the line of scrimmage at the defensive at the point of attack, or it's going to be a really long day for us.
Do you have any update on Lovett, kind of what he was dealing with and what you expect if he's available?
Yeah, lower leg injuries day to day. See what he looks like today and kind of go forward. But, yeah, it's kind of day to day. I think right now it's probably 50-50.
Did you expect this kind of output from Dom, though? 6 catches, 84 yards, and then just the first half?
Yeah, it was really a tough blow for us offensively because he was playing so well and so fast out there, and really was a mismatch in the game, and for him to go down the way it just was, it was tough. It's tough when you lose one of your better players offensively, if not your best player on offense. You got to find a way to recreate that offensive game plan. So, we've known he's a really good player, and again, that goes back to what our belief was in the spring, which was we need to let him grow and develop. We knew instead of trying to move him around all the time, let's let him become the best age possible and then funnel the game plan through those specific things that he does well, and that's kind of what we've done.
Coach, is there any concern about Chris Evans during the injury he had against Georgia, and then is there a chance you could get Chad Bailey back this week?
There is concern about KAD. Again, he's day-to-day. I'd say he's 50-50. Chad Bailey will be out there in a green jersey today. We'll see how that progresses. There's not I'd say that's more doubtful, but we'll see as the week goes on and be able to update that more Thursday.
Who's Richardson compared to athletically? I mean, have you seen guys that you would put in a similar rank?
Yeah, I mean, I think him and Robbie Ashford from speed and quickness, ability. I think he's just maybe 3 inches taller and about 40 pounds heavier. I mean, he's very similar to KJ Jefferson probably, as far as speed, athleticism, ability to throw, run an offense, make good decisions. If you don't hit him in the mid sternum to the thighs, you're not going to get him down. He's a very big physical player, and whether that's a free runner on a sack or in the run game, like, you've really got to run your feet through the tackle. If you leave your feet before the tackle, you're going to bounce off like a ping pong ball.
Eli, what's the conversation like with your team about playing better on the road, what they've got to do to play well on the road?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to start fast. I mean, but I thought the way we played against Auburn, you know, if believe me, there's plenty of things from that game that we've got to improve on, but I'm not necessarily worried about that. I mean, we got to recreate our process. There's not some magic on the road. We got to do something a whole lot different. Just got to recreate our process, focus on us. Don't worry about the environment. Don't worry about the opponent. It's about our energy, our execution, our determination to play the way that we want to play. What's our standard of performance? That to me is what it's all about. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.